Do this to me. Oh, here we go. Hey. I was just waiting for it to work or not work. I was expecting it to not work this morning. Jen here. I hope you are all well. Sammy and Little Girl are with me. I'm turning on my device because I might need to use it for something to show you guys a couple of things. So just in case, and to make sure like we're live and things are working and operating as they're supposed to be. All right, I'm not even going to bother with the glasses. I had a migraine yesterday, so I hope you'll be patient with me if you take the time to watch this video. Uh, Quick disclaimers, they are in the description box. I'm not a medical professional any longer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legal professional. I'm a citizen doing what I believe is my due diligence to God and to mankind. Mankind, but like my community, thus society, doing my small part. Um, so this topic is a little touchy for me. There are a lot of personal elements relating to my testimony that are interrelated. Um, I do believe that in 2018, God woke up my subconscious, so you might call it source, higher consciousness. Let's not get into that debate. This is about current events right now, but I just want to tell you briefly where I'm coming from on this topic. Um, it is triggering for me personally. There are certain things I can share, certain things I can't share because some of it's not my story to tell. I do have loved ones who I believe are affected by this topic directly. And I do believe that apparently I'm in a community full of individuals that are proponents of dropping the age of consent probably entirely. That is one of the reasons that's why I'm shunned. That is why I am blackballed, as my monitor probably knows if it's who I think it is. I do not consent to being shadow banned or having my testimony hidden or being hidden myself unless it is by my creator maker, just to get that out there. This is my personal testimony. And again, it's directly related. Now, what you're seeing in America, I'm going to explain to you how to know, how to discern in the headlines what is true, what you need to pay attention to, and what is not. And again, this is directly related to my testimony. So if I falter or I pause, I would ask that you extend me a little bit of grace. And if you missed the first part, probably you should go back and listen. I'm going to do the best that I can because I have had this migraine. And this is what happens. That's a part of spiritual warfare. There is a lot of this story, a lot of my story that they don't want to get out. Okay, so regarding the headlines that you're seeing, I had dreams about flooding. I had dreams of earthquakes over and over again. You can go back to the beginning of my testimony. Um, Most of it, let's go over things we know right now at this point. Most of us know at this point, looking back, that a lot of these floods were exacerbated because dams and levees were intentionally opened. There, I said it. A lot of this is going to be speculation based on logic. And again, I'm doing my due diligence, and I do have freedom of speech, freedom of the press extends to anyone in the public. You can go ahead and read all of that if you'd like. Um, Now, moving forward, how do you know what is real and what is not? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to lay out a possibility for you that is diabolical to the core. There's no other way to say it. It's nefarious and it is wickedness at its core. Um, Sorry, my head. It is very possible that if what you're seeing in the headlines are real, now again, we do have people out there like myself, bigger than myself, who are trying to get the truth out, but they are being shadow banned, they're being hidden, they're being targeted. They can make your life very difficult, especially when everything is digitized. And that's a part of this too. Remember that Elon, and I hate calling him that, Musk, because he is gross and he probably stinks. Elon wanted records of the United States to all be digitized for us to be brought forward from this caveman era. Um, there's a reason for that because it's very easy to get rid of things when they're digital. Remember, artificial intelligence, computers, they are tools that we use, that we created. There's a man behind every app. There's the mind of a man, right? That may be power hungry, that has personal agendas of his own and motivations of his own. You cannot program machinery or technology that is not sentient. You can't program it to be honest. You can't even program us to be honest, right? We lie all the time, every day, just to get by in society. We all wear a mask. Okay, so let's bring all this together. What does this have to do with the Epstein list, whether it exists or not? I'm not going to go there. I'm going to lay out a nasty plot story for you. Let's tell a story. So we all know at this point, we all speculate, looking back by the evidence and all the links. And again, we're going to look at a couple of things, but there were levees and dams open prior to the Helene flooding on the mountains. That's why it was so bad. And there were things open, levees and dams opened as well regarding Texas and Camp Mystic. Again, there's a lot of people from Cali just moved there. That land is very attractive. Right now, what you're saying are land grabs, but what you have to ask yourself, and this is how you know if it's true or not, is this out of desperation? Why are people doing this? What is their motivation? Or individuals, because they're not all people. What is their motivation? All right, what of these headlines is true and what is not true? So, what if now Camp Mystic, allegedly, we know was an affluent, elitist type of, where only people who had a certain financial, status or safety net could afford to send their daughters and whatnot to. But something else you might not know is that some of them were children of whistleblowers, allegedly. What if everything that you're seeing in America right now is to protect these people and to hide that list? I didn't go in for this theory. I do know that these things allegedly happen. I also know that not all psychiatrists are honest because of my own personal experience relating to this topic. That you can, if you gain the consent of someone and they have a weak mind, you can program them, because we are like computers. You can program that person to believe that something happened, especially if they are a young child. And you use something like, I don't know, hypothetically, anesthesia. I have a whole video series about that regarding alien abductions and that topic as well. Please let this video go forth, Lord. Please bless it. Okay, sorry. So if this is real, and if this insight that I believe the Lord has given me from day one, and again, I'm going to go back again and show you a little bit of something to establish my credibility with you, and there's a reason for this. You have a right to know who you're listening to. We are trust you. Now, people, the wrong community, and the wrong family. Let me make sure things are okay because it looked like it buffered for a second there. Okay, we're good so far. So regarding these lists, Camp Mystic allegedly had affluent children there, or children of whistleblowers. So we all know, looking back, we've established that dams and levees have been opened in places to exacerbate these effects. What if it's all this? And again, this is how you know if the media is telling the truth, and how you know that there are people who are still, boots on the ground, truth warriors who are trying to get this message out. And again, I didn't fall in for Q and all that. I'm not a part of that. I don't know people. I don't talk to people. They made sure of that. They ruin your credibility. And that's what happened with me. My subconscious couldn't compartmentalize things anymore. And suddenly all these things that I had ignored over the years just like came to the surface. And that's why I say God woke me up, because if it wasn't for divine intervention, I would have lost my mind. My children are my life, and to think that I've entrusted myself and them with people like this is devastating. It is beyond devastating. And so that's just another reason I do this. Okay. What now? What's happening right now? I'm going to show you something real quick. We're going to pull up a headline. We're going to look at it together. But first, I got to remind you of something. Remember when this happened? I did a video on it. I can show it to you on my phone if you would like. Please tell me I did not close it. Hold on, guys, 1 second. I'm going to pull up an image just to remind y'all of something. If you're looking at a black screen, it's okay. It takes it a minute to transfer over. So I'm going to share this tab. Please work. Don't do this to me. Is it live and just not sharing? Hold on, guys. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. Let me try that again. There we go. Why are you doing this? Like, what are you doing? Okay, this ain't right. What is happening? Share this tab? Oh my goodness. All right, hang on. Stop sharing. All right, 1 second. We're going to try it one more time. There's an image I want to show you. Let me see if I can bring it up on my phone, which will be just fine too. I'm not going to panic or any of that business. Let's pull this up. Come on, no, I want to see the image. Get out of here. There we go. All right. I'm going to show you something. Hopefully it'll work. Do you remember this? This is what I'm trying to pull up. And they've deleted it. I can't find it on the internet anymore, but I saved it to show you how they message each other. Do you see it? Watch the water with Trump and the flag behind him. That was a post that he made in January on Twitter. Now, I don't have Twitter, but I saved that, and it's a thumbnail on one of my videos. Now, they don't want you to see these things. They're deleting all of this. And so here we go. Let's try it one more time and see if it works. It's still not working. Wow. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Now you've seen it. Okay. All right. It sounds like somebody's playing a little bit, but I've said my prayers and stuff, so hopefully. All right, another link. Are you going to go up? Come on, man. All right, we're going to share this. This is the picture, this is the post that goes with the picture that I just showed you. All right, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to like go back out of the video and come back in. So give me 1 second because I'm not wanting to play these games. Oh, there it is. All right. So this one says, this is the post from January 27th, 2025. And it's but what you need to understand again is it's from January. And the image that went with it is this. Okay? It is watch the water. Now, I can't find it anywhere online because they're deleting all this stuff. So let me go ahead here. Now what we're going to do is look at something together just to, again, establish credibility. And I also want to go over something. So let's just see. Now, do you remember, if you were here and 2 videos ago, I talked about how, forget storming Area 51, we should all head to the Grand Canyon and see what's up with that place. First, there's hantavirus that comes, calling there, and now they're having fires there. So again, this is just to build up a little credibility with this Epstein theory I'm going to throw at you. So let's look at something. New York City. Now it's called something else, but just give me a second. Oh, I just wanted you to see the words that I'm using. Oops, that I misspelled. All right, so, which includes New York City. Okay, so let's go here. Where is it? Let's look at the address real quick, because I want to show you something. I feel like Fire Marshal Bill from Saturday Night Live. Show my age there again. Southern District of New York. Now, where is this? Oh, wow, that phone number is strangely familiar, and I'm not in New York, allegedly. All right, hang on. This is also a part of my testimony, but I've never really talked about New York and Brooklyn and how I found phone numbers relating to certain individuals in that area. So again, I think I might be a case of one of those people who knows things that doesn't know they know things. I worked a lot and my mind was played with. You don't have to believe me, but these individuals will go to any lengths to hide these things. So let's consider the possibility that knowing what happened with Hurricane Katrina and the levees there, knowing what happened in Pasadena and Hawaii, on Maui, knowing now what happened when they called it Helene, but they emptied the dam, they opened the dams. And now again in Camp Mystic with Children of Whistleblowers, they opened the dams there too to exacerbate this situation. The question is, what are they hiding? Are those floods actually occurring? Is it in the manner in which they say? Now, organized chaos, when you intentionally cause chaos, you plan for it. You plan for any event. And so people, and everything's micromanaged. Our military young men might actually be helping with these endeavors in their own country, but being told it's for our benefit and not understand the power struggle that's actually occurring here. Okay. And this is all based in the spiritual. Our country is spiritually sick. And this is all being done by individuals who want to totally eradicate the age of consent. That's the deal. It should be obvious to anyone with eyes at this point. And if you're okay with that, and if you sit back and you say nothing, you should have a millstone around your neck. And that's what Christ said, not me. I know someone who should have at least 3, possibly a lot more. Okay, so where is this place at? Where are you? Can you just tell me the address? Hold, please. We're going to look at the address. Contact us. Maybe I want to write a letter, and I just want your address, your physical address. Post mail. Yes, please. Okay, so this is in Federal Plaza, the criminal division. Okay, so these Epstein files, they keep saying, are in New York, in New York, in New York. My first question is this: they're not digital. They've not been, nothing's digitized. It's all paper. Because if it's digital, you don't say in New York, right? You just say they haven't been released yet from the Department of blah, 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 Defense or Justice, actually. Sorry. Why are you saying in New York when at this point in time, everything that we have should be digital? Well, if they are actual communications between these individuals, from back in the day, or even more recent, they would again use things that they could get rid of or destroy. They're not going to use digital means. That's why they want us all using digital, so they can change our information anytime they want. And I've been following, for example, I've been following a loan that I got to try and improve my credit. And I used to work at a bank in collections. Like, I'm adamant about debt. Like, I'm on it. And I always had been until, this crap happened and they don't want me working, like, at all. And so, sorry, again, this is all very personally related to me. Let's take a look at where this is. It's in New York City, right? Well, what's happening in New York right now? You had you had Trump make a post talking about watch the waters with him in an actual flood and the American flag behind him. And then we have what happened in Texas or in Appalachia. And then we have what happened in Texas. And now you're having it in New York City. And it did happen before in Hurricane Sandy, I believe. New York floods, I guess, semi regularly. They're below sea level, I think. So it's going to happen. Why would you build a city on a marsh anyway, on a swamp? Like, that's just dumb. But anyways, let's take a look at the flooding. Now, we were just looking at that, and where is it? It's in the Southern District. So where are the floods happening? Let's look at that. And again, this is how you know if it's real. If these floods are happening in New York and something happens to that, and if you say her name right, it sounds gross, like it's a fake name. If you say the G part and then Lane Maxwell, like it's a gross word if you say it right. Nobody says it that way though, because they know it. This is also funny, but it's tragic too at the same time. And it's all playing out on TV, but in, again, really deceptive ways. But you've got to dig for the truth. So you had the flooding in Texas with these children of affluent people who may or may not be on the opposing side of the current administration. And so what if it's all related to this list and to these people? What if they're getting rid of anyone who would blow the whistle? Everybody. Because I did videos, and again, I'm not a doctor, all my disclaimers are in the description box. I did videos on the beginning of this channel and on my other channel when we went back to like 2012 and people started showing up missing. A lot of the missing 411 are from our own military. They're also respiratory therapists. Why would you get rid of people like that? Because they would have been honest people who would have told the truth about this being an inside job in our country. I told you, now we're seeing what happened in France with all those people getting injected without consent, or like that's some type of, you know, hate crime or terroristic act. We don't know, but what's going to happen with those poor people now? And it was all women. So it's vital that people start putting these things together and you do your due diligence as a citizen. This is how you know if it's real. If they say that something happens to her because of this flooding, or these records, this list disappears because of this flooding in New York City, you know that everything they're doing right now is to cover up their reprobate, disgusting behavior. And there's no other, like, we got to call it what it is, right? Somebody was getting on me and I said, we can't have tolerance for bad behavior. I was a certain type of way. And it took shunning me and outcasting me for me to come back around. But they outcasted me because I repented and I started, like, my subconscious, again, it just wakes up after a certain time. Kathy O'Brien, people like that, what they're talking about, the other gal that I shared recently, they've come out of situations very similar to mine. You don't have to be in an institution to be part of some grand experiment. And unfortunately, it seems like that is what America is. You have to understand that the medical industry is a teaching industry. Everything they do is a learning experience. And so that's why malpractice is such a hard case. But right now, at this time, everything you're saying is a possible Trojan horse. So if we carry these things out logically, that the people who seem to be getting caught up in these tragic events are possible witnesses. There, I said it. Possible witnesses. And God told me I was his witness. I didn't know what kind of witness. All I knew was that he said to talk about these things, and so that's what I'm doing. This is why my credibility was ruined. This is why they came after me. I had a good reputation, mostly. Work-wise, and in the relationship, again, it's very different because you don't. This is why they don't want victims, right? Because if there are victims, there are crimes, and then if there are crimes, there are perpetrators, and if there are perpetrators, there are people who need to have justice done to them. So everyone telling you about victim mentality and this stuff, and don't be empathetic, these are the people to avoid at these times. Stop allowing yourself to be bullied into, like, well, this politically correct behavior. Politics is a cult. Why would you want to lie for a living? Why do you want to be around people who just want yes men around? So if I'm correct in this, if something happens to this list because of this flooding, there's going to be a literal war at that point. They want to instigate certain Americans to chaos, but again, they want the chaos to be their chaos that they've created so that they can be in charge of the cleanup. And then what else do they do? Well, they get a whole bunch of donations rolling in. Like, this is their work. This is what they do. This is their lives, is to deceive us. And people aren't getting that. Like, they want to be a part of the club. Why? How many tragic stories of influencers being stalked or going insane do you need to see before you understand that that is not the way? So New York, um, let's see if is the Southern District flooding? Two people lost their life in New Jersey. And these people who say they can't say things on YouTube, all you need is disclaimers. They can't say it because they have sponsors. They have people putting money in their pockets, so they have to say certain things. Why do you want to listen to people like that? That means they can be bought. That means that every word they say comes under a microscope. Do you want to have to analyze every word and behavior around the people, or of the people around you? Because I live that way, and it's not a good way to live. But some people, like, that we are around right now, the elites are in your own neighborhood. They don't want you to know their faces. They don't want you to know where they live. They don't want you coming after them because they know they've done wickedness. And again, this is so nefarious in every aspect of the system. It's like one hand is they're each scratching each other's backs. And no one ever asked all that stuff that came up with Planned Parenthood about them selling embryos and fetuses. No one ever said, to whom are you selling them and for what purpose? Desecration all across our land. And nobody's asking the right questions, and everybody's okay to scroll past videos like mine. There's a lot of us out there trying to speak up about things that are happening in small towns right now. I told you they were probably putting the internet on a loop for certain people in certain cases. So again, if I'm right, if they lose the list or something happens to this list, but again, why is it physical? Why is it not digitized? That's a whole nother, rabbit trail to go down. But if they tell you suddenly that there's no list or something happened because of the flooding, again, it is all to gaslight you, because immediately they say, how dare you not believe them? How dare you, not believe this child that this happened to them? Or how dare you treat this person this way because they're a minority? It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with truth. Truth matters. And if truth doesn't matter, then nothing matters. They want the chaos that they can control. and they want us agitated to a point, and they're gonna hold up they're gonna hold up they know that people are now bloodlusting, right? Like the old witch trials. Like the old witch trials. Now people are like bloodlusting for justice and for somebody to come under scrutiny, and for the public they have to hold up a villain. But who is that villain actually going to be? And I'm going to tell you now, Trump loves minorities. He loves immigrants. All the people in that crowd drink at the Mexican restaurant. That's why I got in. That's why they gave me such crap there. They didn't want me there. And they're all living double lives. Apparently, I walked in a couple of times with things going on. So everything you're saying they're doing and everything you're seeing is inverted, and it is the opposite. And it's retro causality. They're playing off of some type of law of reversal. Because again, if our language is reversed, but they want you to shut up, they don't want you to learn better words, they want you to just be quiet altogether. And again, if that's what all of this is about, if the Epstein list and her being in New York City, and now we have that flooding there to be concerned about. And why are they openly showing you that 1 year he was saying he was chastising these people and coming against them, and now suddenly he's two different people? It's like people have had doppelgangers just take over for them. I don't know what's happening to people. And I might end this video now because it seems like it's not going to get pushed, and it needs to be heard. People need to understand how all these things are interconnected. We have a right to the truth of the people that you trust and you vote for and you put in office. I don't vote for them because of these things. I don't want to be spiritually bound to people like this. I have my own issues to work through, right? Like, I don't want to be in alignment with those individuals. And I'm not going to have my maker and creator see that when I come for my day of judgment. That's not going to be me. I've done enough wrong on my own. I don't need anyone else's, but I've offered up all the pain that I go through for my children. If you believe in that type of thing, that's what I've done. I might make the chaos magic video another, separate from this one. I might just end this one here. If people see it and hear it, they see it and hear it. If they don't, I keep trying. Like, that's already been decided. So, you can keep monitoring me, and you can keep stealing, the information that I say and giving it to other people or to the highest bidder. But if you do that, if you're exploiting a message that is supposed to be free, as I was given it, then you are going to come to the same end that I will. Then you're okay with what I told God I was okay with. I'm not going to tell you what that is. It's your own fault for, again, taking somebody else's information and running with it or exploiting them. Now, if you don't believe I talk to God, why are you doing that? And it's not voice to skull or any of those things. It's God. He tells me things that I don't want to hear, but I have to hear, like truth, honest. That's what he does for me. It's not an outer voice that, well, I've heard that once and I was coming out of sleep, so that's debatable. But that's the best time to reach us because our defenses aren't up. So this information can oftentimes come when we're not fully conscious. And then after so many years, your brain just pushes it all to the forefront, and you have like this epiphany. You get through another layer of reality, and sometimes it's not what you want to see. And that's what I'm dealing with every single day in this testimony of mine. I think those were the topics that I had to put together, was the Grand Canyon fires, Because again, if I'm not talking to God, then what is happening with all of this? Why is it everything that I speak to ends up coming to some type of fruition? And I give God the glory. And I don't call myself a prophet. I am whatever he calls me. And what he called me was a witness. And I've repented of my tattoos. So I honestly don't want to hear about that. If I go to hell, that is between my maker and I. I try not to tell other people that that's where they're going to go. I might say, well, you're on the road to hell. But I would never say, like, I'm not the one that I should judge that way. I'm not going to tell you you're going to hell. So again, I have family members that are directly tied up in stories like this, and they've all chosen the other side. And kind of good for them in a way, because they're all blackmailing the people that did these things to them. That's what you're seeing. Gen Y and Z is blackmailing their abusers. This is why these people are openly changing their stances. And some of them are YouTubers. They have a club, they stick together. Big YouTubers, big. And they're all in the other club too. They're all in the Rainbow Hijacking Club. All of them. That's how you know it's spiritual and it is religious, and it's all about religion, and it's all about corrupting you and your children. And this is why they put out this chaos magic. They're using reverse psychology, gaslighting, repetition through the words that they're using in the media. And in that way, they're using our own mind power in our own words back against us. They're taking our energy and our gifts that our creator maker gave us, and they're using it against us to cause this chaos. You have to stay focused on things that are concrete, things that are lasting, nothing temporal. Truth is concrete. Okay, and I can talk about that without talking about God. Well, I can't talk about that without talking about God, but even if you're not a godly type of person, I'm sure that truth matters to you in some way, shape, or form. And so they're using these headlines and this redundancy. That's why when Rona came out, they gave it all these sleep stage names. They want people susceptible and vulnerable, like you are when you're in that state between wake and sleep. Now, you saw all these people in France. I should pull it up, but let's just talk. You saw all these people in France, women in a crowd, all women. But again, we're supposed to believe it's not spiritual in nature. In this together, in this to get her. I've told you that so many times. Somebody wants me to know these things because they're feeding me this information, and they know I'm going to tell it, people. I want to get through this part where everybody has this illumination of conscience, and it comes back to themselves and their free will, and starts making the right decision because it's right, because it's true, because it's concrete, because it's lasting. Truth is lasting. But again, they're using our own energy against us in a strange way that's related to entropy. And it does have a lot to do with Saturn, but they're giving you all the pieces, but they're not putting the picture together right, the puzzle together right for your understanding. And this is why, they think that's funny. It's a mockery. Again, not all beings are the same. Not all beings have the same heart as you, the same conscience as you, the same brain as you. I'm even willing to tolerate that and be okay with, like, okay, that's not your nature, but you don't need to interfere with us any longer. Like I said, the Epstein list is surface level shallow. Oh, I know the other thing. Cabbage Patch. I'm going to show you how they use language against you too. I'm going to Google something real quick, and then I'll bring it up to show you. And I can separate the video through the... You see. When was cabbage used as slang? Now, again, I'm going to show you how since the beginning, right? They've used pictures to convey truth to each other in a way so that only their own kind, birds of a feather flock together, so that only their own kind can interpret the message properly. And again, I could not do any of this before. I didn't have this. I wasn't dwelling in this, any of it, before God woke me up. Okay, so I'm going to try and pull this up and do a screen share again. Let's see if it works. Hopefully it will. Now, again, I'm doing this to give my claims some basis in reality, okay? And it's important that the people you watch are open and honest and transparent with you in that way. It's been taking it a minute to come up, and I'm not sure why. So just hang on for a second. Or maybe I'll just... There we go. Okay, so check this out. Remember all this stuff? Maybe you don't remember, but I'm going to tell you. There's this theory about Cabbage Patch babies, and they want people to believe that we were cloned and that we actually were birthed out of cabbage. These are the people who don't understand parables. Scripture talks about them too. If they don't understand parables and analogies properly, if everything is literal and physical and surface level to them, they're of the other kind. They're of their father, the devil, still. Okay? And humans love it. They're being worshipped right now all over YouTube. Everybody's worshiping them by giving them our attention. We are worshiping the fallen. And they're all over. They're everywhere at this point. As in the days of Noah. How do you get through? Discernment and behaving righteously. So the slang term cabbage used to mean money, okay? There are postcards, and I'll get to that in a second. There are postcards out there with, and like old 1800 videos. I shared them on the community tab from like the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, probably about 1888. Hi, Chip. Because the squirrel outside. Hi, Chip. Hey, buddy. Anyways, there are picture shows, as they called them, from the late 1800s, early 1900s, showing women in a cabbage. They would pick a baby up out of a cabbage, and by their foot. Like, you could tell these individuals had no concept for childbearing. And you're seeing a lot of that right now. They literally want to use us as breeders, but that's it. They don't want women around. And unless you are one of the women doing what they want you to do and saying what they want you to say, you're not going to be around. And again, you've got a few different things happening here, because you also have women who are handlers to some of these men. And you can tell when you watch them on television. But anyway, what does this have to do with this? Everything. Because in wartime, you will see children transported all over the land. Why? So they can raise another generation of people, not knowing where they come from, not knowing their true people, not having roots, so that they don't know the true history of their people or of humanity, and so that they are completely and utterly emotionally bonded and dependent upon the system, the government, and whoever their handler is. It's not a parent, it becomes a handler. And again, this is why you're seeing the gaslighting on TikTok. I saw a woman of color, and again, this is not biased. I saw a woman of color talking about how nobody could come to her and talk to her about the, skin tone of her child, but the baby's father, because he was light skinned. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying there's a lot of this. They are rewriting history and also trying to re-educate people, not in camps, but right in your own home through these screens. So the slang term for cabbage used to mean money. So if you have a postcard, think about this, with a bunch of babies, coming out of cabbage heads and a woman plucking them and showcasing them. What does that mean? That means that child is a product and they are selling the child. It has nothing to do with babies being birthed from cabbage heads. And honestly, I tire of people like that with huge channels, banking, gaining all of our attention, being one of the fallen, and my kind eating it up. You know them by their fruits. They can't even discern headlines properly, right? Now you're going to say, well, some of them created this. Yes, some of them. Now, again, we're dealing with a couple different elements that are happening here. You're dealing with the people who don't know, right, what's going on, and they're just blindly walking through and on the wrong side. And then you have people who are on that side and understand exactly what they're doing. But that's the thing. They will put out this messaging, they will put out this symbolism, but if you approach them with a parable or an analogy, they don't get it. Everything's very literal to them. So again, it's that double-minded thing. It's that hypocrisy that dwells in them that shows you, just like the Pharisees Christ spoke to, you are of your father, the devil, still. And it's heartbreaking to see your own family like degrade in behavior and intelligence. Like it's just, and it's disrespectful too if it's other beings for to like take. Again, this is the days of Noah. People need to just get with the program. And I'm glad people are getting the truth out on places like TikTok, but it's sad that everybody's monetizing it. Because again, that's one of their tools. We've got to be very careful with this stuff. The slang term cabbage means money. Okay, so if you saw a postcard with a bunch of babies coming out of cabbages, that meant you could have one of them babies if you paid them. Where are they getting the babies in war times? Where do the babies come from? Well, first it was Native American, indigenous babies, right? But then they had to have revenge, so they kidnapped the babies too. But they took the red-haired, fair-skinned babies because that was different to them, and because they were probably children of the giants. They run the giants off, but they probably felt bad about their offspring or their descendants, possibly. But again, some of this I'm speculating at. But put these pieces together that everybody's giving you in the right order, because their chaos magic is going to work on you if you keep reading the headlines and letting them decipher it for you, because they're giving you misinformation intentionally. They want us at each other's throats. They want us discontented. They will hold up public enemy number one. They will say, here are your child harmers, and they're going to be innocent human beings just like yourself. They want you guilty of everything they're guilty of. They gave up their first estate. They want you giving up dominion over the earth. It's one of the reasons they hate me. I won't give it up. I pray every day over as far and as wide as my territory goes, let it be known that Christ is Lord, right? I don't know how far that territory is. Only the Heavenly Father knows. You need to use your words to account. Stop letting them turn your own energy back on you and deceive yourself. This is people are being self-deceived, right? Because they're not listening to the right sources and they're not honing, you've got to practice discernment. It's a skill. It's taken me years to put some of these things together. And that might be slow for some people, but it is what it is. So cabbage was a term for money, but when did this start? Now my phone earlier said 1800s. It said in old French slang is mon petit chouchou, my little cabbage head. I know it because I said it to my children all the time. My dad's ancestors are French. So again, my phone said that this was in the 1800s, but the point being, start putting together the puzzles in the right way. So you've got the North Rim. Let's look at that. The North Rim of the Grand Canyon is on fire. Where is that and what's there? North Rim, Grand Canyon. So it's by a place called Bright Angel Point. Now, I just saw a hiker that I watched. She posted her videos, and I know that it takes time to edit and all that stuff. She was just in the Grand Canyon. Now, again, you'll see these YouTubers go to certain places, and what are they doing there? Some of them are plainclothes military, and they're going across the states, taking out their orders, and they're also making money on YouTube. I'm telling you, man, this stuff it's all about the money right now because they know that they're going to transfer everything over. And you're going to see regular people become wealthy and they're not going to know how to handle that wealth. If we get that far, I don't know that it's going to get that far. But again, you're seeing this contrast like with Sodom and Gomorrah. You're seeing the real wealthy against the real poor. Like if you've ever read A Tale of Two Cities in Paris, certain people who were lower on the echelon thought that it was the end days. Like they didn't know what to do. They were waiting for God to come. They were watching the skies. And then the elites, it was Babylon. They had vomit rooms. They were eating too much, gorging themselves, going to plays and musicals and enjoying music and kicking the homeless as they went in and out of their carriages. Like that's the deal. So why would they close this? We were just talking about this. And I said, forget Area 51. Let's go here. Let's go see what's going on here. I don't know where this is in the grand scheme of things, like as far as the United States goes. Let's zoom out and see if we can get a better look. I don't know how far it goes. I don't want to open it in maps because I don't know if my location is on. Okay, so here's the Hopi Reservation, which we talk about all the time. Navajo Nation off reservation trust land. I am telling you, and if you read the Bible, it also talks about how they are pushed from their land. I'm telling you, the true Jewish people or Israelites, whichever, are Native American indigenous people. The Bible is true. It's our history. A lot of people don't want to come to terms with that because of their sin or they don't want to give their sin up. It doesn't matter what you believe at this point. What matters is the truth and what's happening. Okay? And there are people like me who care about you and don't want to see harm come to you because you're not paying attention to what's going on in the grander scheme of things, in the bigger picture. Now, I bet if you go back too and you look at those helicopter accidents and those plane accidents, I bet you're going to find some of these same people, just like you saw at Camp Mystic. I said it in the beginning, the children of the whistleblowers, possibly. If this is true, if this whole Epstein angle is, talk to you again as I go out of this video, if the whole Epstein angle is true, if I'm right and the insight I've been given is correct and these things are fabricated not just for land grabs, because if they're doing land grabs, guys, they're desperate for resources. That means there's a real reason to be concerned. Why are we desperate for resources? God would not give us a place that is going to run out of things. What have we done wrong or what has went wrong with things? But I told you everything has an expiration date. This is why you're seeing parts of the firmament fall. And that's not me saying that. We saw that in the early church fathers a couple of months ago. I'm putting together the puzzle pieces, but I need somebody else like to get people to listen or to use their platform. Because for whatever reason, the things that we talk about here end up having relevance, just like the Grand Canyon. Okay, so the Hopis have a really big part to play in the end of this age. They said there's going to be two paths, either the people who follow the technological one or the people who don't. Now, again, these people are desperate and they don't want lynched, obviously. So they're going to hold up a villain, but it's not going to be the real villain. Just like Trump loves immigrants. His kind drinks with them. I saw them at the Mexican restaurant. That's why they didn't want me there. And I told you, everyone you see on TV is a proxy. I worked with the Vance guy. Look just like him. Just like him. I even have pictures on my phone of both of them and compare them all the time. I'm not going to show it because I don't out people like that. It's up to them to come out of the shadows or God to reveal it on a grander scale. It's just like The Simpsons, only I don't know that if they're reptilians, but I know they're not who you see on the screen. I know that for a fact. Okay, so if all of these natural disasters are taking place because, gee, coincidentally, the dams were opened right before these things happened, and now you have people in France getting injectables and they're using retrocausality or this alleged law of reversal, what's going to happen next? Think. What usually happens before injectables? People get sick, right? So they did the injectables to show you or tell you that that's what's coming and you're going to see more lockdowns. Now, again, they want lockdowns happening so you don't see what they're doing out there. Isn't it funny how last time we had the lockdowns, all these YouTubers were traveling? They were allowed to go here, there, and everywhere. Think about it. Pay attention. They know that certain people don't want to break the rules, and they capitalize on that and exploit it and do nefarious things all over the place. How can you help? Nobody ever talks about solutions. Do your small part. Use your language and your tongue in the proper way. Walk in truth and light. And if you see someone in trouble, help them. Because if you don't, that is going to be you someday. My whole testimony is a cautionary one. I'm a prime example of those things. Just listen to me and just avoid the crap. Because it's a slippery slope and you'll end up like these people who have lost their souls I'm not even convinced that they ever had them to begin with. And again, it's taken me years to come to terms with that because I love these people. I've been around these people my whole life. I love them. But they're not what they show you. Not at all. They will do good deeds publicly. That's why they broadcast their good deeds. They need you to see, hey, I'm a good guy. The Bible specifically says don't do that. Don't do your good deeds publicly, right? Don't brag on them. Just go do them. If you're going to donate money, do it anonymously. If you're going to feed the homeless, if you want to get their story, that's great. But if you want to feed them and you want to help clothe them and give them a shower, do that off camera. Stop exploiting those people unless they want to tell their story or reach out to family. If I'm right about this, then that's what they're going to say next is that the list was lost in these floods or that something happened to her because of these floods. And that means that they are guilty of all of these things and so much worse. All right. I'm trying to keep the videos to about an hour. We will talk more about language because I'm going to offer you some solutions and words of power in Aramaic and Hebrew and Latin, if you like, but mostly probably right now Aramaic and Hebrew. And they're just phrases and words of healing and of certain weather if you need it, right? If you're having a drought, if you need rain, that type of stuff. And so if you see that happen next, if you see them say that the list is lost or she is lost, then you can prepare for some type of real war. People aren't going to stand for that. And if they hold up a villain publicly, chances are, because Trump says he loves Christians, everything is the opposite. They're going to hold up Christians. And Christians are going to be persecuted, but they're not going to say it's because they're Christians. They're going to say it's because they're child harmers, because they accuse us of everything that they do themselves. That's what you're going to see. Just like right now, the immigrants, you're not seeing, they're not in any danger. He loves immigrants. He loves minorities. What you're seeing now is something totally different. And it has a lot to do with consent as well. At a certain time, God allows them to overcome the saints of the tribulation. And if you don't think you're in tribulation now, then you need to examine yourself and ask why things are going so well for you while others are suffering. And sometimes you're just blessed. It rains on the just and the unjust. But in these times, like this, you see who's doing good. You see who's doing well. I didn't care for Trump either way. Like, I didn't care if he was president, if he wasn't president. I prayed for him like I do all people. I just wanted him to lead us well and to do good things, right? Like most people want. I didn't care either way. I didn't think he was a good guy or a bad guy. But I know his stance has completely changed. I know he doesn't look the same. I know he doesn't sound the same. I know his posture is different. Like every body language is means a lot, and his is screaming like there's an alarm going off, like something's not right there. So they're going to hold up Christians probably and call us child harmers. And now I was watching a younger streamer today calling for public hangings. And he's got millions of viewers. And I know he's playing two parts. He's not just, I don't think he's just this one guy. He's another guy too. One guy is like Sexheimer or something, and he talks about, I used to like him. He talked about libertarian views and stuff and politics. And the other guy is, I don't even want to say his name because he's like, oh, I'll litigate, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, he was talking, you can go watch the stream. He was talking about public hangings. And did I not say that those children I worked with, the one that looks just like JD Vance, were talking about public execution? They want you to hear this stuff. They want to scare you. They want to intimidate you. And they're doing something with their looks that helps them either look younger one day and age the next. Because again, I live in this area. That's why they don't want me here, because I'm seeing things like this. And something having to do with the injectables makes you blind too. Like it just makes you spiritually blind. And that's why you have so many people now. Another reason you have so many people walking around blind. And the other is what they're putting in their body. You have to be very careful what you're consuming. I've told you, God at the beginning of this told me not to eat animals. And it wasn't necessarily for the compassion factor, although obviously, but it's for what's going on there. And they want you guilty of abominations. And they will see that it happens one way or the other. So you'll see a real war if that's what they say. If they say that the list is gone now and she's gone or something happened because of this flood, that means that there's actually a tug of war, a power struggle happening, and it's real. And you're going to see an all-out real war at that point. Because right now everything's just been proxies, and it's how they funnel money. It's how they launder money, is through their nonprofits and stuff. I wanted to be a nonprofit. I worked for one. After seeing how it operated, I didn't want to do that anymore. All right, you guys have a blessed day. I'm trying to keep these at an hour now. Thank you for watching the shorts. If you do, I love sharing Sammy's journey. And normally I am a very lighthearted person. I like being silly and joking around and having a good time. And I do work hard and whatnot, but these things need said, and then this story needs told. But if you want to see a lighter side of me, my shorts always showcase that. So you guys have a blessed day. Please pray for me, and I'll pray for you. Bye, guys. More later.